Move in and take over an area over here called the Gaza Strip. It looks like this. Okay. So the purple is newborn Israel. Jordan took over this area called West Bank, including, by the way, the old city of Jerusalem, place that you probably toured, and Egyptians take over the Gaza Strip. Listen carefully to my terminology. Terminology means the way I use my language. I could say, generally it means that if you are living over here, and there's a military law, and you want to go to the next city to a doctor, for example, you need to get a certificate from the governor. It means that you don't have citizenship, you don't have equal rights like people that are not living under martial law. And that went on quite a long time until 1966. In 66, with Arab pressure, but also Israel sort of like managed to mature and say, that does not make sense, right? And provided those people a citizenship. A citizenship all the way to Arabs getting a citizenship, meaning the right to vote, the right to present themselves in the parliament, to have Arab parties. Anything that I would have, they would have legally. By the way, there is discrimination. Yet, on a legal status, democratically, right? Again, formally, you will have equality up to extent that in the last government, we had the Minister of Culture and Sports was an Arab, Israeli, Palestinian. Right now, one of the
そうってくると戦争なんかあったりとか入植なんかあったりとかね、パレスチナと一言で言ってもウエストバンクにいるパレスチナ人もいるし、ガザにいるパレスチナ人もいるし、逃げていってレフュージーになっていろんな国に分散しているパレスチナ人もいるし、さらに言えば世界中に散らばっているパレスチナ人もいる、日本だっているかもしれない。そういう人たちをひっくるめてパレスチナっていうんじゃなくて、今日のスタディのポイントはイスラエルに残ってイスラエルの ID をもらってイスラエルで生活しているパレスチナ人。
Here, after that, Israel, after 48, about 155,000. A lot of researchers come and ask a question, how 1 million expelled and about 155 remained? Mikhail, can you give an answer? I think it's a very good answer for research. But let me tell you my story. My mother was born in 1908, about 100 years ago and more, and she died 10 years ago. And in 1948, my mother and father told me how they escaped, before 60 years and more, to the Lebanese here and the mountains. And we had goats, we were farmers. You know what's goat. We had goats and and we escaped, and then we decided to come back to Skhnin, and the people in Skhnin said, we die here or we live here. We don't want to go to Lebanon or to Syria or to the West Bank. This is our land, because every place has a story. Like in Japan, if you take a house, if you take a garden, every place has a story, has a narrative, has a childhood, has memories, So our parents remained here, in Palestine, in Israel, after 1948. As Mikhail said, about 400, more than 500 Arab villages were
wiped out, demolished.
Wiped out. And we remained here, about 100 Arab villages remained. It's the Galil, the north of Palestine, the north of Israel today. We have the Tringle near Hadira, Tel Aviv. We have the Arab Bedouin in the Negev. They are Arabs and they live in the Negev, in the desert. And we have Arabs in the mixed cities like Akka, Haifa, Tel Aviv, Yafa, Lod, Ramla. 50% of the Arabs, in Israel live in the Galil, from Nazareth to the Lebanese borders, the north of Israel. 25% are living in the Tringle, and 12% live in the mixed cities, and 13 are living in the desert in the Negev. It's about the Arab in Israel. If you look here, Skhnin, you see here we have the Arabs, as Mikhail said. The Arabs are Christian and Muslims, and our city Skhnin, it's a very good city for tolerance and coexistence. You know the church, it's near the mosque. 1948, when their families, in Syria and Lebanon, and we remained, were afraid, fears, doubts. What will the government do with us, all those questions are very, very, serious questions in 1948. Imagine that the Palestinian is like a tree. You see the tree here. Now, it's cut. Now, 155,000 remain here, this part of the tree, and most of the tree in Lebanon and in Syria and in the West Bank. And we were cut, or it's like an orange. You know an orange. You cut the orange, a half is here, and in the other, countries. It is a very difficult, a unique story of the Arab. I don't know if Mikhail can help me and you, as students for political science and history, do you know a minority in all over the world in the same situation like the Arab in Israel, the Palestinian? Can you give me an example of a minority with the same situation, I don't think we can find a minority in the same, situations. My friends, I wanted to, after 1948, people were afraid, what will the new state do with us, and Mikhail spoke about the martial laws. The martial laws, which lasted till 1966. But imagine, this village, this city today, the first doctor and the first clinic, it's in 1973. Before that, we don't have a doctor.